Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big Finish Fans. In today's Big Finish Fans, we're talking about the Series 3 opener box set for the Ninth Doctor Adventures, The Pioneers. Once again, I am joined with Luke.
Hello, everyone. How have we all been?
Yeah, we've been away for a week, and we're back in full thing to get some Ninth Doctor goodness.
Yeah, it feels like ages, to be honest.
Yeah, it has.
I don't know if it's just me, but yeah, it's a strange one. I suppose because we're so used to doing them like week in, week out for the most part.
Or we've got little side projects in the week, so it's like not much of a gap, but there's not been much of that.
No, this is the first time we've spoken since 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll stick to our one stream for each week schedule for this year, and probably make up for that at some point.
Yeah.
We'll squeeze 2 in 1 week, someone.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be like a big finish release where we can just cram in like once in future.
Yeah, that'll probably hopefully get that out midweek when it gets a release date.
Yeah, when we figure out when that's actually coming out. But we'll talk more about that later in the news because that's had a bit of revising to say it better.
Yeah, exciting times ahead.
A lot of news.
Yeah, and for us as well, because next week we'll be back with Stephen Noonan, won't we? If all goes to plan.
Yes, yeah, if everything goes to plan, we'll be doing the second half of Talking All Things season 12. I mean, it could be another part. Who knows? We don't know how long it'll be, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. Hilarity will ensue, and fun personal anecdotes. Really, it'll be great.
Yeah, thank you very much for the strong response to the first part as well.
Yeah, very kind of blown away by it, really.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
Yeah, Stephen also put up a little clip from that on his channel when he read the that little excerpt from the Ark in Space novelization by Ian Marter. So, if you really enjoyed that particular bit of it, because he's a wonderful audiobook reader, isn't he?
Yeah.
For that
he's got the John Coleshaw thing where each character has their distinct voice.
And he really embodies them while he's reading those bits. And yeah, just enthralling voice to listen to. But yeah, head over to his channel and check out that little video. Yeah.
I'll put a link in the description below to it when this is all over. When we're finished live, I'll quickly go back and pop it in the description so you can check it out because it's definitely worth your time because there's a bit of a talk afterwards as well from us. And
to plug ourselves all the praise.
Well. Yeah. But swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, so a stream highlight, really, isn't it? And certainly saves people having to click through the nearly 6-hour stream to find that little bit.
Yeah, but it's worth it because it's a treasure trove of information, and we're excited for it. Stephen's definitely excited for it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting back to that next week. So if you really enjoyed the first part, you've been wondering where's the second part at?
Is there going to be a second part?
All goes to plan. Yeah.
But there is a second part. Possibly third, fourth, fifth. Who knows? We will just talk on and on and on. And go on and on and on.
Hopefully, again, have Stephen on after that couple of weeks' time for something else special as well. We'll see.
Yeah. There's some things in motion, which hopefully they come to fruition, which they probably will. They probably will.
Yeah. We've been having some wonderful chats with the man. So
yeah.
We're very excited about things to come. And we've sort of worked out a loose schedule for our other streams as well this month.
Yes.
We should be getting to our... Yeah, I was going to say we should be getting to our top 5 of the year so far soon. Yeah, that'll probably be right at the end of this month. So they're always fun to do.
Yeah, it's interesting to sort of look where we're at with Big Finish. What's sort of been the highlights so far? Because there's a lot of good stuff coming up in June, especially, which we're excited about. And the 8th Doctor set, I'm really looking forward to. There's a lot of things.
Daniel Hager, the Second Doctor fan, says, "Hi guys, how are you tonight? I'm good.
I'm a bit tired, but we roll."
Oh, yeah.
I had a late night last night.
Won't be another 5-hour one tonight.
Yeah. because I was Jodie Whittaker's favorite band last night, so I'm like kind of in a state of
Coldplay.
Yeah, Coldplay. I was there. Didn't see Jodie.
Oh.
So yeah, it was good. It was a good gig.
I hope you are doing well as well, Daniel.
Yeah, I hope you're having a good time.
Us. And hello, Joe Bowers as well. Always great to see you in the chat. Samuel Liddell asks, what are your expectations for the 60th anniversary? Thank you for joining us, Samuel.
Thank you. It's going to be special, isn't it? It's Russell. It's the dream team, isn't it? It's our Doctor Who in terms of our generation. Yeah. So for whatever it is, we'll be transported back to 2008. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I've got no real expectation for it other than it's a high standard because it's Russell, and I think Russell's writing has evolved tremendously since Doctor Who, like, years and years, and It's a Sin. I'm excited to see what he can do with Doctor Who in the 2020s.
Yeah. I mean, fun and feels are my expectations pretty much.
Yeah. Roller coaster.
The best way to sum it up. Hello, Stylish One. Thank you for joining us. I've been listening to the Sixth Doctor and Charlie arc, and it still remains one of my favourite Big Finish arcs and reminds me why I love Big Finish. Glad you're enjoying it.
There are stories that do that, isn't it? Where you're like, this is why I love expanded media and, Big Finish.
Yeah. Frost YouTube asks, do you like the Genocide Machine? I'm assuming YT means YouTube.
Yeah, I assume it is.
I don't know why I didn't just say YT, but
YT. Also. Yeah, I like the Genocide Machine. I know Josh Nez is currently animating. I think he's done part 1, and it looks really great.
How have you been recently, Ben? Because it's been 2 weeks. You said about your Coldplay concert last night. Anything else been going on in your life?
Anything else? No, just work and listening to a few throwback Big Finishes. A lot of Big Finish, actually. I've kind of got back into the Big Finish mojo.
That's good. Any Charlie arc or Genocide Machine?
No, none of that. None of that. Mainly Tom Baker, Fourth Doctor Adventures.
Oh, which ones?
I did Darkness of Glass.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Which I had a lot of fun with. And I think that's much like with the Charlie arc, made me go, I love Big Finish. I've done Genesis of Terror or Daleks, which interesting release, got quite an interesting reception. Hopefully a review of that will be coming soon. So
are you going to put one up on the channel as well?
Yeah, I'm going to do a channel review of that.
I think
it's a quick one. Yeah, it literally kept, I think, like the day after or 2 days after, I think. Yeah, Saturday it came, which was nice. And yeah, it's worth it for the cover. I like the cover a lot. Even though Davros really shouldn't be on the cover. Yeah.
I mean, they put out that wonderful little trailer. Is that little segment of him in there pretty much the entirety of him in the story? Because
that's it. That is it.
Well, that is it. Interesting decision there. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit, and even more so because we'll do a Lost Stories stream at some point, won't we? After the arc comes out.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about
tier list of all those.
Yeah, in season 12.
Yeah, because you know us, we love our tier lists.
Yeah, we love tier lists.
I mean, not that we're going to tier list this, but I finished Death in Paradise.
Oh, nice.
Got up on that. I think it was about early to mid-April, wasn't it? I started that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And you were just rattling off. Oh, that there in Death in Paradise.
Yeah, that's bit. Oh, what's it? Brasso from Andor was in Death in Paradise.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Later ones. That was a fun face to see again. And Camille Caudry as the Muller.
She turns up.
Yeah, as the Muller of a pop star. Funnily enough,
I can see why she was cast.
Yeah, so it feels weird now because it's pretty much been stick on an episode of that or two every day. Well,
And
yeah, 2 or more every day, to be honest.
Yeah, you've
And
got a bit of a void.
yeah, it's like, what do I do with myself? I've gone back and watched a couple of the favourites, but yeah.
So I started doing that with not going out. I've just started binging that again.
Oh, how's that?
Very good. It's just sort of background TV when Mel was here. I'm like, I'm kind of enjoying this, so I'll revisit it.
Yeah, it's funny what can kind of just tempt you to end up consuming hours worth of your life. And
Well, we were just talking about like, oh, what's your favorite episode from it? And she was talking about like the escape room. I was like, I've not seen that one, so we just stuck it on, and then we just just next episode.
Mm.
So it's just kind of been that.
It's this sort of like what we have now that Stephen Noonan didn't growing up. Like we talked about that a little bit about how we just have instant access to all these Doctor Who stories, whereas for him, repeats were everything.
I mean, we kind of had it. If you wanted to experience a classic Who story that wasn't on DVD and you didn't have a video player, it'd kind of be like longing and that mystery around that story.
Yeah.
Especially like Terror of the Zygons. That was like a story I really wanted to see. But of course, it was last in the DVD line, so like it took a long time for me to finally go, all right, this is a gem. This is a classic.
Yeah. I think we sort of grew up on the threshold of it, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because streaming is obviously a huge thing now. You got the iPlayer with everything on. But yeah, certainly when we were young, that wasn't an option as such. But also, we weren't completely reliant on the repeats. You had home media. But Joe Bauer says, it seems Genius for War is the story Terry Malloy told me he was recording with Sylvester last year.
Wow.
No.
Nice.
That's a mystery solved for you there then, Joe. Shall we talk about the news?
Yeah, we'll do a bit of news because there's a fair bit to talk about, isn't there?
Here we go. We will start off with A Genius for War. Because this is probably one of the biggest pieces we've had. We've got 2 weeks worth of news to cover this time.
Yeah. I think this week is where the main bit of news has been, to be honest.
I mean, what did you make of this?
Oh, it's a good cover. It's a really good cover. It's sort of, I don't know what, I just sort of get that sort of buzz of out of time again, I think, because McCoy hasn't really had a Davros story for a long time. Because Davros is very much Sixth Doctor. Yeah. So it's nice to have McCoy and Davros in a story. And McCoy in the
Red
Time
Supreme.
War.
Yeah, you got the Red Supreme there as well. So
yeah,
that certainly gives off out of time energy. I think, has the Red Supreme been on any other covers, or is it just this and Out of Time?
I mean, technically, the Time Strategist.
Yeah, it's a recolored one. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all the Time War stuff, it's just the Time Strategist, isn't it? Pops. Oh, wait, what about the last Terry Malloy Time War story? Palindrome.
I don't think he's on there.
I swear, like, Palindrome Part 2 is a lineup of Davros and loads of different Daleks. And I'm one of them must be the Red Supreme, I think. Maybe not.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think if it's any story, it's there. But yeah, it might just be the Time Strategist again.
Let's have a little quick Google.
It's funny because the Supreme does pop up in quite a few Time War stories still, though. Like He Who Fights Monsters. Yeah, it's usually the Time Strategist who gets on the cover. I suppose it's because he's their own creation, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And yeah, Time Strategist would have been interesting in Once Future, actually. I mean, it's not entirely discounted yet, but, you know, given how that Dalek senses the timelines and such, what would it make of a Doctor who's flipping through his different incarnations? Would it be able to sense something on him, perhaps?
Yeah. I mean, Palindrome does not have the Red Supreme.
There we go. So yeah, it's just Out of Time then.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it feels odd to be excited about something Time War related for me. Because like it feels like there's usually an overload of that sort of thing. And I can't say I'm a huge fan of many of the stories they come up with. But yeah, there's just something exciting about the Seventh Doctor being the one in it. I think that's great as well. It's using Once and Future to its advantage by being able to put a different Doctor in a situation you wouldn't normally have them in.
Yes.
Like, it's not just doing Fourth Doctor meets Sarah Jane again. You know, this is the Seventh Doctor surrounded by new people with Ken Bones as General and Beth Chalmers Vecklin there, who's looking great on the cover, much better than we had on the not Casualties of War.
Comrades in Arms.
Comrades in Arms, that's it. But she's looking a bit funky there with her arms up. But yeah, it's a beautiful cover. And you've got the Trial of a Time Lord station up there as well, it looks like. Or at least a similar model. I mean, story-wise, it's apparently like the Doctor Davros being imprisoned on the Skaro moon, isn't it? And the Doctor is the one who he wants to rescue him. Yeah, love it.
I mean, the limited cover gives me Davros.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it does. These limited covers do feel like a nice throwback, don't they? Because we were mentioned before about the unbound quality to them. And yeah, now the Davros style as well. It's got good stuff going for it.
I don't know which cover I prefer, to be honest. I like the simplicity of the limited, and I like the shade of red. But I like the movie nature of the standard cover, and I can't wait to see the poster whenever the CD arrives. You know?
Yeah, I think I like that both do different things between the limited and the standard, because the standard's sort of like your more what you'd expect a Big Finish cover to be.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get into that a bit more in a little bit with some other news, but yeah, so like giving you a proper window into the story, whereas the limited is just a good piece of artwork that feels like something special. And I think usually that's the style I don't like so much, because you know it denies you that window into the story. But given that we're getting standard covers and the posters inside as well, I think that more than makes up for that and makes the limited feel that much more special. But yeah, it's Fulcus seems to be the name of the Skaro moon there. So hopefully be a good bit of Terry Nation fun, perhaps. Apparently it's written more like a new series story, though, actually. I read in Vortex.
Okay, that'd be interesting.
Because it's a bit, you know, I think Jonathan Morris said his thought process was, you don't just want to be going back to the Seventh Doctor's era, doing the same thing you do in a regular Seventh Doctor Big Finish release. You know, you want to do something that makes it feel special, like I was saying about the different combinations. So yeah, this one ticks all the right boxes for me.
Yeah, it definitely feels the most exciting one announced so far. I'm sure that will change as we go on.
Yeah, because there's loads of guest stars still to appear anyway. You got Missy, Harry's got to show up somewhere, and he's not with the Fourth or the Seventh Doctors, so wonder where he will appear. You got Paternoster Gang. Yeah, maybe. Paternoster Gang, Jackie Tyler.
Do you think they do Jackie in 9?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just wondering how that would work with the Unbound box there as well.
Yeah. I can see David Warner's Dr. Gurn, you old tart, or some patronising thing to Jackie. You old bag.
Oh yeah, he loves his old bags, doesn't
he? Yeah.
I suppose it depends whether, because would Eccleston want to do like his TV series 9?
I don't know.
But then again, that's not how it's working anyway, because it's all, yeah. Sorry, completely slipped my mind the basic concept of Once and Future there. But yeah, be interesting to see how that works out. Lady Christina as well. I mean, we've got Liv there. Yeah. I feel like Liv's going to be with 8.
You think?
Yeah, because sort of like, you know how they set up that idea in what was the 9th Doctor adventure?
Flat Pack.
That, you know, the Doctor will see her again in his 8th incarnation. It could be setting up something else, or they could just be leaving the door open there for other possibilities. But it feels like it would make sense for that to happen there. But we'll see. Yeah, certainly lots of exciting news still to come there. And yeah, this feels like a real blockbuster one here.
Unexpected, because I didn't think about this combo at all.
No, it's one of those ones that's perfect once you realise it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because sadly, we don't have much McCoy with Davros.
Yeah, which is a crying shame, really.
Yeah. Well, I remember what we spoke about. You said you were happy it wasn't Colin because he seems to be the main Davros doctor on Big Finish.
Yeah.
It's nice to bit for something different. I mean, Peter Davison's never come up against Davros on Big Finish, has he?
No.
Yeah.
Been the story of Terry Malloy.
Yeah. Tom Baker kind of has now with Genesis of Terror, but not really.
For what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those would have been 2 interesting combinations as well, but I can't say I'm disappointed by this in the slightest. So, yeah. Moving on to more months and future news, we also got an updated cover for the artist at the end of time.
No AI.
No. And it's gone from being my least favourite of the bunch to my favourite, to be honest. I really am vibing with this cover.
Okay.
It does a lot for me.
Has it made you more excited for the story?
I'd say so as well, actually, funnily enough. It's funny the effect a cover can have on your excitement for the story. Because like we say, it's a window into that story.
Yeah.
And now this is just such a cleaner look for it, really. But yeah, I mean, it's unclear quite how or why this happened. Like, all talk about it is just speculation, but I'd say educated guesswork, though. But yeah, people are saying that it's likely that Big Finish didn't know that Lee Johnson used AI on the cover art, and then when they saw the negative response, asked him to do it again without the AI. Or maybe they were aware of the AI and just didn't think it would have as much of a backlash as it did, and so asked them to do it again. It's also speculated that this cover being redone is why we don't have a confirmed release date yet. Like perhaps it was pushed back from being earlier in the month to now having to come out a bit later.
A part of me feels like it could have come out yesterday if they wanted to stick to like the beginning of the month.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's a sacrifice worth making, though, to get this cover improved.
Not that it matters to us because we have the limited, which I still think that's a glorious cover.
Yeah. I mean, we still don't have our what's it called? Past Lives. Yeah, that's still not been sent out. So I wonder if these will come along together, these first 2. We shall see.
I mean, I think they were meant to be arriving in the warehouse this week. But because the UK's had so many bank holidays, last month.
Yeah,
I guess that's why there's been a bit of a delay with everything.
Yeah, I mean, other things have come quite quickly. You said you got your War Doctor now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's interesting to see whether it's like single releases or what it is.
It doesn't seem. I don't think there's any consistency to it, really.
Yeah, it's not because Ninth Doctor come pretty rapid. River come very rapid. Yeah, it's strange what releases come and watch. You have to sort of wait for because no Sixth Doctor yet.
No. I mean, Fourth Doctor, we had to wait a long while for that. New Frontiers, didn't we? So, but then Genesis of Terror came
straight away
next day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like for some people. But yeah, certainly artist at the end of time. Definitely a bit more hyped up for this one. Now, it's interesting that it wasn't really announced on anything like social media wise. They didn't come out and say updated cover. Here you go. It was more they just snuck it out the day after the A Genius for War news, and then people eventually noticed and started sharing it around. Like that's how I found out.
Yeah, I found out because of you messaging me going, look, we won.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, because I
yeah.
saw it over on Twitter, and I thought, oh, that's a nice fan-made version of it. And then I read what the because you know how Twitter works, you always look at the image first, then you read the caption.
Yeah.
Because it's just what draws your eye, really, isn't it? But yeah, then I read the caption. Someone was saying they updated. I was like, have they? I went and checked, and sure enough, there it was, in all its glory. So now that we know that bullying works, let's talk about this.
What a segue. Oh dear.
To clarify, don't endorse sending hate on social media towards Big Finish or anything like that.
That's on you.
Nothing.
Saying that and that laugh.
But certainly sharing a negative opinion of it in a respectful manner is perfectly allowed and I'd say justified in this case.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it away with this one?
We were talking about like a window into the story.
Yeah, I was.
You don't get
perfectly
this.
setting that up for that.
Yeah. Like they're trying to homage the Pertwee Vortex, which big fan. It's the whole motive of this channel. But other than like, what makes it different to any other Second Doctor and Jamie other than he's old? And we've had old Jamie on Big Finish, so it's so bizarre that going back to like the first Beyond War games, you had Ice Warriors Daleks. Perfect way of setting up on the cover, and more sales instead of banking on Beyond War games to bring in sales. Yeah, it's one of those sort of creative decisions where you have so many amazing things to put on the cover, whereas this, it's just we've got a Second Doctor and Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, the Beyond War games cover grew on me, at least.
I like it.
I accept, because it's still a good piece of artwork, even if it doesn't provide that window into the story as such, or the story in the box.
Because you think that it's the beginning of this new era for.
Yeah, it's well done. Whereas with this, I can't really say the same. I think no hate to the artist, because ultimately we've heard from a lot of artists that it does come down to quite a strict brief from Big Finish at times. And so, if they were told just do the Second Doctor and older Jamie together on a cover with a red vortex in the background, there's only so much you can do there. But yeah, I mean, why couldn't, even just looking at the artist's other work, like the Dead Star, why couldn't we have got something more like that?
Yeah, because like the audio novels, that artist really flourishes.
So it's clearly not down to the talent of it. It just feels like a lazy brief, really. I can't say I'm a big fan of the art style anyway, but it has done so much better than this.
I think it works on certain ranges like War Doctor Begins and the audio novels.
Yeah, especially with the War Doctor Begins as well. It made so much sense there because they're not legally allowed to use images of young John Hurt. But because it's a digital painting, it sort of gets away with it. Whereas here, it's also odd that we've got really old Jamie here, whereas on the Annihilators cover, they just used an image of Fraser from a photo shoot he did back for that Sixth Doctor trilogy.
Yeah, City of Spiders.
Yeah, so it's ultimately it's a cover, so inconsistencies like that don't matter too much. It's on the same level as the Second Doctor having grey hair in the Two Doctors. You don't see that as canon necessarily. You just see that as the actor had grey hair, gloss over it and move on. Same with recasts of characters. But yeah, never. I'm not a fan of the image choices anyway, or just what's been done.
I think this as well. The Second Doctor, this is a thing with. I think this is becoming commonplace. Every Doctor now has an image, and it's on the BBC website, and it's just the generic images what they've been using.
Yeah, you sort of come over familiarized with them.
Yeah, and I don't want to say I'm getting fed up with it, but I am getting a bit sick.
It's like, especially when you see what other artists do with different images, what they come up with for their covers. You know, like just recently with Sean Longmore's Audacity cover, how the Eighth Doctor in that is like a new composition of quite a few different images and such to give us a new TV movie look with a comics costume.
Yeah,
versus this just being an image we're all too familiar with, really, done in a inky watercolor style.
I think if it was a different image, it'd probably be maybe a bit more kinder to it. I don't know.
I don't think I'd be much kinder to it.
I'd be like, well, the image choice was nice.
I mean, I like that both characters sort of like facing inwards. There's decent composition there, rather than both looking like completely different directions. I mean, let's move on to the story details now.
Yeah, the story sounds actually really
good.
Because
I mean, despite the covers, we've already picked this one up.
Yeah, we got the bundle.
Yeah, there's no going back now. And in addition, I think we'd be picking this one up anyway, just because we like our second Doctor. We want to hear these ongoing adventures after Beyond War Games. So, yeah, I mean, you start off with Jamie by Mark Wright. It seems that, I don't know whether they're going to be 2-parters or 4-parters in the same way that the first episode of Beyond War Games was. The Final Beginning, that was it. You know, how that was all on 4 episodes on one disc, so like 15 minutes each. Don't know whether they're going for that or whether they're going for 1-hour stories, because it doesn't actually say in the description this time, which is unusual. They've been getting quite good at including how many parts each story has.
I'm sure we'll figure out close to the time, really.
Yeah, it's probably just an oversight that they'll update at some point. But yeah, Jamie by Mark Wright. So it seems we're going back to Scotland for this one, as you'd expect, although this time in Edinburgh, so getting a bit more of a built-up location with Edinburgh Castle.
That's the one I'm most excited for.
I mean, is this one of the few stories named after a companion? Like this, Rose, and I can't think of any others that are literally just a companion name as the story title.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And then next up, it's The Green Man. Seems set on like a medical rehabilitation center.
Crinoids.
I mean, apparently it does feature a returning monster.
Well, if it does have a returning monster, pop it on the cover.
I mean, yeah, not too sure what to expect in that one. It's a relatively new writer. The first full cast one for Big Finish, but they had done a short trip before.
Yeah.
And then Bob Ayres is back again with another story that seems to be playing quite well with the audio medium, as it's sort of seems to be set on a planet where there's no light, or well, a weapon by an invading force has nullified all light on this colony world.
It sounds very 60s, doesn't it? Very like annual.
But yeah, so in this case, no one can see anything, so you're very much relying on, you know, other senses, and that allows the characters to narrate what's going on in a way that doesn't feel contrived for the audio medium. So, yeah, I mean, other than the cover, which we probably spent too long on, sorry if you do like it. And it's got a couple of fans out there, but
it's wrong to judge a book by its cover, but you know, it's one of these things where the range was highly received, really well received last year. So you think that surely they can, you know, the 10th Doctor Classic Companions, that had a bit more going for it, you know, with all the companions, the Axon. You know, it's not, again, it could just be a brief thing, you know.
But yeah, certainly when I saw this cover, my reaction was like, is that really it?
Yeah.
But
we waited a year. Mm.
I mean, especially after with the Demon Song, you had that
Mm.
wonderful bit of artwork by Christopher Naylor.
Yeah.
You thought, okay, so we're moving away from this style now for the first and second Doctors. I wonder what they'll do for the second Doctor one, but no, it's just more of the same, really. And yeah, let's move on because we had some more negative press for Big Finish here.
Yeah.
With the Genesis of Terror release, as you know, I've not really seen a single good word said about it, to be honest.
Which I think's wrong because you know exactly what you signed up for with this release.
Yeah, like, I think Big Finish were quite clear in what they were putting out here. You know, with it just being episode 1 that's full cast with the narration, and then like cast readings of the rest of the outlines and such.
I mean, I will admit I was a bit shocked by how short some of the outlines were.
Yeah, like even like one of them's just 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's episode 2. I mean, I know it's Terry Nation, but he kind of expected something a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But to be fair to Big Finish, they didn't need to do a Philip Hinchcliffe interview, but it's a nice thing to have just to go, here we go, there's something else there for you.
Yeah, I suppose it pads out a little bit, but you could just say maybe just you could have got rid of that, done it as its own Big Finishing conversation or something, and then instead had just this be a single disc release, make it a bit cheaper. I mean, they have at least not gone the full usual 2-disc price. It's just $12.99 and $10.99 for download versus the usual $14.99 and $12.99 for download. But
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, what we were saying, I think yesterday, is if they released this and the Ark the same day, then maybe it probably would have been cancelled out a bit more.
Yeah, like it would have felt more like an addition rather than with it standing on its own. It just makes it more obvious how bare bones release it is. Yeah, certainly not seen much love on the Twitter timeline for this one, and like even Big Finish themselves, I haven't really seen them retweet a positive review of it. They've just sort of dropped it and then haven't mentioned it since.
The trailer was wonderful by Rob Ritchie.
Yeah.
Like I did not expect this release to get a trailer. So when I saw the trailer drop, I was like, "Wow, okay, this is something quite new, exciting, and different." And yeah, it's Genesis of the Daleks with a couple of alterations, but it's still the story you know and love.
But I think that's the main issue people have, isn't it? Understandably, that it is. There's not really enough different there to justify this being made, which is why they didn't do the full treatment like they usually would. But yeah, it just sort of falls into an awkward, like, was this really worth bothering with category?
When there's so many other lost stories like Project Werewolf,
But yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll continue though, and
I hope the lost stories do continue.
Yeah, hopefully they don't do like what Lucasfilm did with Solo and learn the wrong lessons from this one's negative response, and cancel all upcoming like adaptations of stories that did get made by earlier drafts of them anyway.
Yeah,
there's certainly some there that would be different enough to justify, and hopefully the Ark will be one of those. But I mean, it's definitely not getting cancelled because
it's got a release day.
But yeah, hopefully that will renew people's faith in how different these can be, like Revenge/Return of the Cybermen originally did in showing off, what could have been, whereas this is more just showing off the original outline for it rather than a different story. It's more just oh, look how clever Terry Nation was fest, I suppose. But yeah, let's have a look at another bit of news. Doomsday. We're getting slightly more positive as we go along. I wouldn't say this is too positive. No cover yet, but we did get some story details and also like details of other things going on, wasn't there? There's a Second Doctor / Ninth Doctor novel as part of this.
I think that's the thing I'm most interested about. I wouldn't say I'm entirely sold on Doomsday. Yeah. But yeah, it's good if you want it.
Yeah, it does at least seem like a much more manageable event. Like I think someone worked out it only cost you 70 something quid to get everything that's a part of it.
That's not
say
bad.
only, but yeah, especially when you compare that to Time More Victorious, really, just how ever growing that was. That was really like a snowball, wasn't it? Once it got rolling.
Yeah, it was like, hey, here's a story on a tea towel, you know?
Whereas with this, with every story supposedly just being 1 hour in the 24 hours of Doomsday, you know, you have that limit there already built in. I'm sure you can push beyond that a little bit with side stories, but certainly it makes it much clearer what order everything is in, at least. Like what the event is. Because I think they've even like labeled each of the different stories, haven't they, as, you know, like hours such and such to such and such.
Just good.
I mean, from this Big Finish box set, we've got 4 stories. Dawn of an Everlasting Peace by Jacqueline Rayner. The Howling Wolves of Xanthea by Simon Clarke. A Date with Destiny by Rob Valentine. And The Crowd by Lizzie Hopley. But I'm wondering if The Crowd could be Joe Martin's debut as the Fugitive Doctor.
You think?
This is wild speculation I'm throwing out there. I'm not 100% sold on it myself, but they... synopsis reads as follows. Follow the crowd. That's what they say, right? In this case, however, devastation, murder, and destruction follow this particular crowd. Doom's next target. But amongst them, an unfamiliar face with a familiar name. Could this be Doom's salvation? So, you know, we know Doom is looking for the Doctor, and the Doctor is supposedly her salvation. But an unfamiliar face with a familiar name. Could that be Fugitive Doctor?
Oh.
I mean, most probably not, but that's just a little something I'm throwing out there, I suppose, for people to chew on and spit out if they don't like. But yeah, it's interesting how no other cast members seem to have been added to this, because like, presumably there's going to be a Doctor in one of these.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
I mean, it's
unless that's the online thing.
But it's listed as a Doctor Who release as well. Like, it's not a Worlds of Doctor Who thing. So you sort of think to justify that, you've got to have a Doctor in there somewhere. Well, we'll see. And there's also one set in 2007. That's the Rob Valentine one, A Date with Destiny. So that could probably be a more RTD style one, perhaps. Or RTD1 style.
Yeah. which RTD you want about now?
Yeah. We'll see what they do with that. I can't say I expect to pick it up, to be honest. I think, you know, same with Time More Victorious. I'd just rather steer clear of these events, really, for wallet's sake.
Yeah. Well, especially with the amount of stuff. Well, I mean, we'll talk about price probably later.
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of done a bit of clickbait in the thumbnail for this, haven't we? Of is it worth the cost with the Pioneers box set, which we will get onto.
Yeah, we will.
We will talk about Pioneers. It is the main topic of this week's stream. But, you know, Big Finish dropped a lot of news, so we've got to make our way through it.
We will catch
on to another one.
Lot.
Yeah, we got Eunice Nemesis cover reveal. Masters of Time with Missy as expected, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of speculation about that. I believe there was a tease at the end of the previous box set, but it wasn't like... It was a tease for a female Time Lord, just not definitive as to which. And now Michelle Gomez is back alongside Kate and Osgood again.
Yeah,
you also get the
enemy of the series finally makes his cover debut.
I mean, it was in the previous trailer as well, wasn't it? But yeah, certainly they've been in the series since the very first box set, and only now we get to see what they look like. It's interesting how this cover seems to break the format. I mean, it's still sort of the characters in a line, but a lot less of them and a bit more going on behind them. I mean, I've jumped ship. I did not pick up the third one. You got the whole bundle, but you've not really touched any of them, have you? Unless you've been.
I've done the first set, and that's it.
Yeah, so I've done even more than you then because I did half the second set.
But I have 3 on the shelf, so ha ha ha. That makes no difference.
You've got something to show for your money at least. If I've got a download that I've not listened to,
yeah, it kind of makes it seem a bit more of a stinger.
Yeah, I mean, I can easily listen to it any time. It's just
that is true.
Not really called to me as such. I don't know why, because I can't say I've been overly disappointed. Like, I've listened to much worse things from Big Finish, but yeah, just for whatever reason, it's not grabbed me and made me want to listen to more. So yeah, probably won't be. Can't say I'll be picking this one up. But yeah, it could be the end of Unit as we know it.
Yeah, unless I imagine. So
at least Unit the new series.
Yeah, there's Bambera. They can continue.
Yeah, which they should do because that's my unit. I like that.
I think that went down very well.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I think sometimes it's hard to tell though. Sometimes, isn't it? Because there's stuff that gets pushed a lot and then just apparently doesn't really do what they want. Like the comic strip adaptations, like for every reason, even with Tom Baker and Beat the Meep, that just didn't meet the sales they wanted it to.
I mean, I still think they should have done the McGann comics first. Because McGann just sells.
I thought Tom Baker sells as well, though.
Yeah, I think people are more interested in that area of Eighth Doctor that people haven't really touched. And I think now because the graphic novels are becoming more expensive, like Endgame, there's more of an interest to seek those stories out.
Yeah. I wonder if the Star Beast, the upcoming special, is going to push interest in it more. Because it's often on sale, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they have said that it's done well, like long term though, so they might revise that. It was just more the initial revenue they got from it wasn't as good as they were hoping.
I mean, we love it. We think it's a great set.
But something else we love quite a bit. I mean, you've been getting in on this as well.
Yeah.
Did you pick up the previous 2 sets?
I've got the first one you bullied me into getting.
Oh yeah, you got that like before the 3rd set, but then picked up the 3rd set and listened to it first anyway.
Yeah, which I really enjoyed. Unbegotten.
Yeah. And now we've got Ascension, haven't we? Out February next year, though.
Yeah, a bit of a while.
Yeah, it's odd because Unbegotten wasn't announced until August last year for October last year. Whereas now we're getting an earlier reveal, but for a later date. I mean, is the end of the world really nigh? A number of groups believe so. And what's odder, they're all vanishing. Have they really gone to heaven, or is something far worse happening? It's Torchwood, obviously. Something far worse is happening. Is the fun little description we've got for this one, written by James Goss again. I mean, if it's more of the same, thumbs up from me. Oh, Armitage is back as well, isn't he?
Yes.
Greg Austin's character seems to be joining us a bit of a regular in this series. So, yeah, I'm excited to listen to where this goes. And finally, rounding it out, we have another 7th Doctor cover reveal. Bringing it full circle here with Far From Home. This is one you weren't as keen on, was it, cover-wise?
Yeah, I think it's just, again, it's that familiarity with the McCoy photo.
It's kind of a bit done to it, though.
Yeah, it's had a bit of work done to it.
To make it more of the older McCoy.
Yeah, I like how it utilizes the companions on each side, telling like the two halves of the stories. But
yeah, and you've got like Harry and the story that seems more his element with World War II there, and the gas mask. Vashta Nerada zombie, I suppose, is going to be. But it's funny with the gold glow. It looks more like the nanogenes, doesn't it?
Yeah, or some sort of regenerating Vashta Nerada.
Who knows? Yeah. And then you got like the more futuristic stuff with Naomi's Ark going on the right there with her. But I think you were mainly pleased to see them apart because that meant they couldn't be on the spine together.
Yes, because spine consistency, Big Finish don't know what that is. Because it seems like they've got a good image for McCoy for the spine at least.
Yeah. So that's even more reason for them not to use it.
Yeah, exactly, because it makes sense. So why would they do that?
Yeah. But I, on the other hand, do quite like this cover. I think maybe because it came the day after we had the James Robert McCrimmon cover reveal. So I was very much like just wanted anything that was an improvement on that. And then this came along. So I was like, finally, a cover that looks like a cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think there's a nice use of colors on there as well.
It sort of has a bit of 11th Doctor Chronicle vibes with like the hexagonal motif, actually.
Yeah. So especially Geronimo. I mean, it's the same artist. Technically, it's all right. Definitely fits with her style. But I like this one. So there we have it. That is the news finally done and dusted. And we're not quite an hour in yet. So
no, we've done well. We're
making all right time, especially with the amount we had. But yeah, we've neglected the chat a bit. So
yeah, let's see what's going on.
Look at what people have been saying. Apparently, the past live CDs had some errors in some way, so had to be redone. Ooh, yeah.
Right. Okay.
A stylish one. Samuel Liddell asks, would you like the third Doctor coming around Davros in a Big Finish story?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so, to be honest. I'd like more Dalek third Doctor stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Davros it's very definitive that his first meeting is with the fourth Doctor. But I suppose, Once a Future could have been a time to get away with it. And maybe they still could, to be fair, if he does a little regeneration flicker.
True.
I mean, there was definitely got a tickle out of hearing the third Doctor mentioning the Time War in past lives.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, imagine that. Will we ever find out why the Ark cover was changed? It's the stylish one. And I think that was more like it was always the intention.
Yeah, it was placeholder, I think.
Yeah, because Wirren aren't really a part of that original pitch. That was something that Robert Holmes really came up with and introduced. So it was more so a case of, them wanting to push it a bit more, I'd say, with the interests. I thought we'll include the familiar elements and then change it a bit later on to have something else. But it is odd how in both those cases, though, like with that cover change of the Ark and with the cover change of the artist at the end of time, it's not just like an update. It's a complete wipe of everything on the website. Like if you go back to the old news articles, they've replaced those images with the updated ones.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, they'll still be out there on social media, but as far as the website is concerned, the original versions of the covers never existed, funnily enough.
Wow.
What else have people been saying? Starchman says 8th Doctor seems to sell a lot more than 4th Doctor based on Big Finish bestsellers of the year revealed at the end of last year. Oh, that's true. And I mean, 2nd Doctor, Beyond War Games, that sold very well. So
was it one of the best sellers? Or the number one seller? I don't know what the number one seller was actually last year.
I don't think they reveal quite the number one seller, do they? They just reveal like the top 4 for every quarter of the year, don't they?
Yeah.
How they did it. But I think Annihilators as well, that made it on there.
Which is good, because that deserves it.
Starshell says, this 7th Doctor cover really shows up the 2nd Doctor cover. This cover draws in new and casual listeners. The others is easy to scroll past and ignore. Very true. Imagine you're a new or casual listener scrolling through the Dalek collection on the Big Finish website. How does Beyond War Games stand out against other covers? Yeah, you'd see that and think, is the Daleks even in it? Is it just like a cameo?
Is it like a placeholder?
Yeah. Second Doctor being treated badly by Big Finish despite being a bestseller is something. Yeah, very true, Stylish One. It's a shame. Yeah, I think Second Doctor deserves better because we haven't really had that many strong covers for him for a while. Like even the Companion Chronicles Volume 3, I wouldn't say is anything to run home about.
No,
even with it being a photo cover. But I mean, maybe there's hope that they'll change the Jamie cover if enough people gave it a negative reception. But I think it was more just down to the AI issues on the artists at the end of time. So I don't think bullying will work in this case. Stylish One also says no 11 in this Unit box set. I remember Nick Briggs said no more plans for the 11, but I don't think he'll be dropped quite so quickly. Yeah, I don't know how the 11 ends up in Unit Nemesis 3. What is that? Objective Earth, is it called?
I only have no memory.
Yeah, because it's definitely still in that one. And I think it's still like working with Unit at that point, begrudgingly, I believe was one of the plot details. So yeah, presumably that didn't end too well. And they just brought Missy in instead. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? A 4-part series featuring the 11 heavily, which even leads to him working with the main characters, then has Missy in the final box. Where have we heard that before? I'll be right back, says Dragonbugs.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Well, that was...
Maybe you're back now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was 12 minutes ago now, so you never know. Sam here seems to be going for a regeneration of some kind. Hope that's going well, Sam.
Just drink tea.
Or just sniff it.
Yeah.
Spill it on the ground and then let the aroma revive you. Brian Yude is back. Oh, yeah, he's back in
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense as well with them both being assassins. I think there was actually quite a clever story from Big Finish. Which one was it? Where it's like it's one of her targets is a silent. And so you've then got the creativity of how do you know that you've killed your target if you can't remember seeing them?
That does sound like a very good story.
Yeah, it's like a nice little concept there. Wonder how that'll go in execution. Dragonbug said earlier, I hope one day we get revival Lost Stories.
Yeah.
Especially like the Mark Gatiss 10th Doctor one in the British Museum.
The Suicide Exhibition, wasn't it?
Is it the British Museum, Natural History Museum? I can't remember which one it was.
I can't quite remember. There's a load of museums.
Yeah, it was in a museum. It's supposed to be a bit Indiana Jones inspired, wasn't it? I believe. Yeah. One says, it's a shame the Lost Stories are no longer unmade stories, but rather alternative stories. What about the Big Store and other unmade stories with enough material to get adapted into audios? I mean, the Big Store is an interesting one because would you count that as an alternative or an unmade one? Because it did very much become faceless ones, didn't it? Like there's a direct link between those two, but it is different enough at the same time with the different setting and such that you could argue it as an entirely different story. Like, where do you draw the line there? Where would you stand on the Big Store, for example?
Just make it. I don't know, and I'll buy it.
I suppose maybe the way to divide it is, can these both exist in canon together?
Yeah.
Like, if they can, then you've got a different story. Whereas if for one to happen, you have to replace it, then you've got a alternative story.
Yeah.
But then you've also got something like Project Zeta Sigma, the
Yeah.
original Fifth Doctor post-regeneration story. Like, that's certainly not an alternative Castrovalva. Like, Castrovalva is something completely different that Christopher H. Bidmead came up with when Project Zeta Sigma fell through. But nevertheless, if Big Finish were to do that, they might not be able to work together in canon unless the post-regeneration stuff was so surface level that could easily be removed. But with Big Finish at the moment, Little Stories, I don't think they do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't want them to if they did Project Zeta Sigma. I think it would be interesting to have an alternative Fifth Doctor regeneration story, because we don't get regeneration stories that often in any medium. So
Yeah.
any excuse to have that as an alternative one would be quite fun, I think. Yeah, Big Finish, if you're thinking of doing Project Zeta Sigma, go for it and keep it a post-regeneration story. It'd be interesting.
I think, the Lost Stories are in an interesting place at the minute, but I'm sure we'll talk about that in a future stream.
Yeah. Best not to get too carried away with that, because that one shouldn't be too long away now. With any luck.
No.
I mean, Ark's out next week, so all we got to do is listen, get a tier list thrown together, and then we can stream and talk in much more detail about that. Maybe do like some of our top picks for stories that are yet to be made.
Yeah.
That we want to see done as Lost Stories. But for now, actually one last thing, because I've just seen Stylish One make an interesting point. Big Finish didn't learn somehow from negative backlash over the first Beyond War Games cover. I will say in response to that, though, like, even though I agree with your sentiment, Stylish One, if it's done well in the sales, like we know it's a top seller, then that's the main thing that talks to Big Finish. Like, if it's selling well despite negative response to the covers, then they're going to keep doing that, which is probably why we've got the cover we've done, because they saw, it's selling well. There's no issues there. Just keep going as we are. And yeah, I mean, with the story still interesting us, like, we're still all going to be buying it. That's going to be telling them yes to this cover. It doesn't put us off buying it, even though we don't like it. And that's what they want at the end of the day. So. Shall we talk about Pioneers now?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the main feature.
Pioneers stream.
Let's talk about it. So, third time's a charm for Eccleston.
Yeah, we didn't think we'd be here this soon, did we? After we did our Series 2 stream.
Because I don't think it was announced when we did Series 2 stream.
No, it wasn't. It came along like late March, didn't it? Did it come on the... No, I think it was before the anniversary of Rose. I think it was a bit before that. But yeah, nevertheless. Certainly, we knew nothing about this. We weren't expecting it until they suddenly surprised us with it and told us, yeah, it's coming out in 2 months' time. So yeah, pretty quick turnaround on this one. Would have been nice if we got details today for the next volume. That would have been,
that'd been very fitting.
Yeah, good.
I mean, normally they don't hold on to Eccleston news that long, but they seem to be holding this one back.
Yeah, I wonder if there's anything special going on in the next set. But yeah, here we have it. And it's got an interesting price point as well, which we've spoken about before. But we'll get back to that again now that we've actually experienced it. And we'll see where we stand on that now that we've actually forked over the 108 quid for the CD bundle.
Oh, did you go for CD as well?
Yeah, I did in the end. I've got Series 2. But the way my shell's set up, it would feel wrong not to have Series 3 next to it.
Because Series 2 is a bit of a sticky point for us where, we've said before, if you enjoyed the last box set, you don't mind forking out the next lot of money for the next set or whatever it is. But this was an interesting one because of obviously price increase, and people are voting with their wallets now.
Yeah, we've certainly been quite up and down, I'd say, with the Ninth Doctor adventures as of late. Like, I think series 1 at the time we were mostly positive about it. Like, there was some issues there, but we sort of let them slide and think, it's a solid start. And we thought, Iron
We
Nose
thought that was the only
out.
it.
Yeah, we did it first. But yeah, then when we had, series 2 was announced like halfway through, wasn't it? I think just after, or not long before Lost Warriors. Yeah, between the second and third box set, anyway.
Yeah.
Responsible Calls and Lost Warriors. But yeah, we thought, iron out those kinks and you'll have a very solid series 2. But yeah, series 2 just never really came together for us.
It started off strong. Like the first box set, Back to Earth, you're like, yeah, this is some really good stuff. And then I think it kind of started to hit that the format, you sort of get fatigued of Companion of the Week. And it had every chance of giving 9 a chance to break away with that with Callan and Doyle, and it kind of blew it,
Yeah, I don't know what went wrong with the Ninth Doctor Adventures in series 2, but yeah, just so that magic wasn't there anymore. I think it maybe comes down to the fact that there's been such an onslaught with these box sets. Like since Ravagers, it's been one every 3 months. So we sort of become desensitized to the thrill of having Eccleston back.
And it's wrong to take him for granted,
Yeah,
this is Christopher Eccleston.
This is someone who, 4 years ago, we would never have thought in a million years he'd end up doing Big Finish, let alone this much Big Finish. Like, I think he's done more than 10 at this point now.
Yeah, he probably has.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy thought in itself.
Yeah, like especially going back to 2016 when we got that first Tennant box set. We thought if Eccleston ever did do it, it probably would be in a similar vein, like a box set every couple of years. But no, we've been getting whole 12 episode series worth every year.
Yeah.
But with that, with it just being Eccleston, like you say, you have Companion of the Weeks instead, and that format does begin to get a bit tired, especially with it all being one-parters. Like, we certainly prefer our longer form storytelling. We like our Friend of the Families and Way of the Buryman and what's the other one called in that? The Fourth Generation.
Or War Doctor Begins stuff.
Yeah.
With like Warbringer and He Fights Monsters,
Yeah. Whereas series 2, it was all just single episodes. And in those you get some gems. Like particularly in Back to Earth, you had Stainster Station and Old Lang Syne.
Yeah.
But then you also have your Last of the Zeta scenes and the Sea Devil one. I can't remember the name of. I think Seas of Titan.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, just stories that don't really do anything for me, to be honest. And once I doubt I'll go back and touch again. So yeah, it's a shame when a lot of it just feels rather disposable, despite it being Ninth Doctor. But now we come to series 3. Try and go in with an open mind, despite the price point and previous misgivings about the series. And we get a box set which, maybe hot take, I think is more consistent than anything we got in series 2.
I'd agree with that. I had a better time with this set.
Yeah, same here.
The problems are still there, but I had a better time with what the story was saying to me.
Yeah, I think I connected and had fun with each of these stories. And yeah, so I don't want to have to go through another series of all one-parters though. I want there to be a bit more going on, but just in isolation, this one worked for me. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I would say it worked and I enjoyed it for the most part. And as I said, more consistent than anything in series 2, more consistent than a lot of series 1 as well. Like, I mean, Series 2 Back to Earth is still better.
Yeah.
Like, because Station to Station, Auld Lang Syne, like we say, those are brilliant. Those are 10 out of 10 stories. It's just that box set is let down a little bit by the false Dimitri in the middle for me, which I did not get on with at all. But, nevertheless, the other two stories just elevate that set above this one. Whereas this one doesn't have a false Dimitri at all for me. These are
it's
all
kind of broke that
really
curse.
solid episodes. And actually, I'm not sure which one I like most, to be honest. I think they're all pretty solid. I mean, sort of giving the game away a bit here for each of our reviews, but I'd say they're all 8 out of 10s. Maybe 7.5 out of 10s.
There's a clear weaker and stronger one for me.
I thought you'd say that. I know there's one you've been raving about quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I suppose before we get to that one, should we start off with The Green Gift?
Yeah, let's do that. The Green Death sequel.
Yeah. I mean, one of many at this point.
Yes, very true.
One of a few, at least. It was got the Green Life from Torchwood, but I imagine they're sort of pushing that one under the carpet a bit now for reasons. If you know, you know. And I think most people in the Doctor Who community know at this point. But anyway.
Yeah, on a lighter note.
The Green Gift, it's doing something very different for a sequel, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like a sequel in disguise of sorts. Because instead you're now going off onto a colony spaceship, a story which feels completely different to The Green Death, but nevertheless has similar ecological and anti-capitalist sentiments to it. Yeah. And there is very much this idea put forward about conservation of things versus, capitalism and the greed for profit, really, and how those two ideas can't coexist. So, yeah, it's certainly something which is particularly prevalent now, more so than back in the 70s, with, just all the horrible stuff we're doing to our planet, for one thing.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to conservation, you can take this message beyond just conservation of the natural world and also look at media at the moment and how conserving that seems to be less of a priority than just making a profit now. And we're getting new lost media in the form of things such as Willow over on Disney Plus. That's now been removed from there and can't be watched legally anywhere at this point, I don't think. You had the whole Bat Girl film getting canned to make like tax returns or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so with that, you're seeing this concept of conservation of different things not really being something that makes a profit, sadly. And so that is two ideals that are very much at odds with each other. And this story tackles that head on and says, screw profit. Rightly so.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be talking about the price later as well. Ironically enough. Obviously, that's a much bigger issue. Big Finish is a small company. They're not exactly filling the planet with sludge. They're not the ones pumping raw sewage into our oceans.
So. Yeah. Let's not get political now.
I mean, yeah, well.
Yeah.
I think there's a reasonable amount of politicalness to get into, though, because this story is tackling those issues.
Yeah.
But along that, with that, it's also bringing along Callan and Doyle. I think it's because of bloody Arthur Conan Doyle. That's what throws me off there. You get this duo returning again after first appearing in Red Darkness at the end of the previous series. And so, Companionhood Week is not quite an issue for this set for this first story, because it's the Ninth Doctor with 2 companions for a change.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to call them companions.
Yeah, because you do get a sense that there have been adventures in between.
Yeah, like the Doctor's regained his sight after the last set as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. But this sort of sets in the motion of where can the Ninth Doctor sort of throw him off, basically.
Yeah, it's that he's not quite ready to accept that full-time responsibility yet, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is also a story about, responsibility of care. For the Doctor, he's got this duty of care to Callan and Doyle. Well, Callan particularly. And then, the people on this arc, the Greenwood, it's called, isn't it? That's a good name. I like the image they lay out of what this ship is, that it's got like these different habitable zones in it. It's sort of similar to what you see in World Enough and Time, isn't it? With, this landscape within a ship. Although the way this is done of like a central hub and then coming out of that is the different zones. That's nicely put together. I think nicely realised in the trailer.
It reminds you sort of like World Enough and Time. Kind of gives me that sort of feel to it.
Yeah, definitely so. But I mean, at first they don't even realise that they're on a ship, do they?
No.
It's just, let's let the dog out for a pee.
Because, you need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some wonderful humour between the two of them, but they do, like Callan and the Doctor, but they do spend a lot of this story apart, actually. The Doctor sort of paired off with Louise Jameson's character, who I can't remember the name of at this exact moment. Let's have a look.
Have a look.
Fiacra.
Yeah.
Almost sounds like something a bit ruder, but.
Oh dear.
She's doing an interesting accent in this one.
Yeah, is it meant to be Northern? Is it meant to be like Yorkshire?
I think she says she's basing it around Leeds in the extras.
Right.
But I'm not sure how much of it just comes down to us being used to Louise Jameson's natural voice. So when she puts on an accent, it's so painfully obvious to us.
Yeah.
It's just Louise Jameson doing an accent. Similar with Nick Briggs, really. We're just so used to his voice.
Yes.
That, when you hear him doing an accent, you're just sort of there. You're not listening to a character. You're listening to Nick Briggs doing a funny voice.
Yeah.
Really. However much work he's putting into it, it still will just be to us Nick Briggs doing a funny voice. And I think this has the same effect with Louise Jameson. I mean, especially when you compare what she's done here to what she did in Double.
Yeah.
How that is just her natural voice, and yet character feels completely different to Leela for obvious reasons. So it's like, I can understand why she'd want to do the accent here to try and, differentiate it, because fans would be used to her voice, but we can still very much hear her voice in there. And so it doesn't work as well as she might have intended.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to continue the trend of having a classic companion in a different role.
Yeah, it's nice having that, because we had it last series of the Ninth Doctor as well with Maureen O'Brien, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Maureen did a more convincing job at it, I suppose.
Yeah, safe to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a chunky story, isn't it? This one as well. I think
is it the longest?
Yeah, pretty sure it is. And I mean, that's unusual for Ninth Doctor Adventures, because sometimes you download them and see you've got like an average of about 50 minutes an episode. And I mean, usually we prefer our shorter ones, but I think here, with the cost of it, you sort of do want a bit more.
You want the more, yeah.
And there have been times, there have been times with us where those short ones, I'm still checking my watch in series 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the Green Gift, I quite enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away as such, but I think it was a solid start. And I do just love having Callan and Doyle around. I do wish we got more of them. Rather
I
than
think this
just
should have
having
been the
them be-
end. I think we should have had just a box set of Callan and Doyle, to be honest.
Yeah, they deserved a bit more, especially because those adventures exist now anyway, because
Yeah.
this is explicitly set after a fair few adventures in between series. So you've already you've already created a loophole for giving the Doctor a companion during this time. Why not push that further and just embrace it for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Like just one box set would have been nice. But I mean, I suppose we're lucky that we got even this.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you did have the character in Ravagers, the nerd.
Yeah,
She was sort
Nova.
of promised Nova. She was promised an adventure, but then we never heard that one at all. I mean, it might not have even been an adventure worth hearing. It might have just been a trip in the TARDIS somewhere. No incidents happen that make an interesting story.
Yeah, just like no drama for it.
But yeah, certainly with this was like at least part-time traveling companion, like temporary. And yeah, I feel like they could have pushed a bit more there. There's a bit of romance for Callan as well. And
Yeah.
that was sweet. That was believable. Like sometimes you get romance in Doctor Who media that you're not buying. You're thinking, yeah, this is forced just to get the character written out. But here, it was well done. I think they made a cute little couple.
Yeah, it sort of reminded me like the middle that everyone has their own sort of section and areas, really, which is quite nice. But yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Didn't blow me away. It was just good.
Yeah. I think with us coming in quite skeptical to this one as well, good is a victory.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I would like a bit more meat for Eccleston. In the sense that I feel like I don't want to say it's one level for Eccleston, but I think there's so many layers to his Doctor, and I want to see that explored a bit more. And this story kind of has a bit of it, and it just kind of gets thrown away a little bit.
Yeah, like he needed more teeth, didn't he, in those scenes where he is calling out the capitalist side of the human race here.
You know, you want your stupid ape rant and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want something quite tame, because that's not who his Doctor is.
Yeah, I think they definitely should have embraced that a bit more at the climax of this story. But yeah, what would you give it overall, Green Gift?
7.
Yeah, I think I'll probably stick to my 7.5 for this one.
There we go.
Yeah, and yeah, Doyle, he's a very good boy. I like that his collar next to the TARDIS. That was a nice little detail.
And just him sniffing out stuff and having a little dog friend as well, that was nice.
Yeah. Oh, I love. Is it Leica, isn't it?
Yeah, and like, you don't talk.
Well, what does she?
Wow, yeah.
Oh, hi, Tom Mason. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Northern Lights now, the second story of this set, and your favourite, isn't it? It's fair to say.
Yeah, safe to say this is my favourite of the set. I feel like this story kind of should have been in Back to Earth, to be honest.
This could have completed that.
Yeah, I feel like because this sort of shows the wonder of humanity. It's quite an intimate story about these two explorers, but it has this wonderful sort of sci-fi fantasy element to it as well, which I like a lot.
I think for me that was sort of what made it be not as great as it could. Like the sci-fi element, it felt like you had such a strong story there, such strong characters. I liked it more when the plot wasn't happening.
Yeah,
because the greatest
it's just interaction when they're in the igloos, and they're just sort of huddling together.
It's like that struggle for survival. And thematically, I like what that alien threat brought in with this, with them all just being people forced to make unspeakable choices in order to survive, like stuff that they're not proud of, but that they have to do, or else they will starve. And I like the thematics of the creature in that, but I can't say I was as infused during the moments where it was like the chase across the ice to that castle or whatever it was.
Yeah, it felt a bit Narnia in a way.
That was
bit
sort of
C.S. Lewis.
That's sort of where I tuned out a bit. But yeah, just this trio of characters interacting with each other throughout, getting to feel like you're experiencing real history alongside the Ninth Doctor was something special in this one. And just how wholesome and well rounded the characters are. They're technically characters because this is fictional versions of real historical people. But the research that Rob Valentine did for this, he listened to Fridtjof Nansen's diary, an audiobook reading of that to really get an insight into who this man was. And so, I think that helps to really bring the character to life and make him, and who's the other one? Hjalmar Johansson.
Yeah.
They both feel right alongside the Doctor, really. And I think the Salford accents they've chosen to give them has helped with that.
It makes Eccleston seem more northern as well. You're like, oh, he's really putting it on. It's thick.
It helps that instant bond between them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
they have a bit of a bromance, I feel.
Yeah. That's a nice, aesthetic choice, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Because, ultimately they would be speaking Norwegian anyway in this, so it's not going to be accurate to reality in that sense. So if you're changing the language they're speaking, I think changing the accent they're speaking with is fine as well. It's what the translation circuit presumably does a lot of the time anyway.
Yeah.
What's ancient Rome? Oh, not ancient Rome, sorry. Well, ancient Rome and the Romans, they're all speaking RP.
Yeah,
but Pompeii, they're all speaking English still. Or with English accents or Scottish accents in some cases. But they're not being forced to do whatever Italian accent from 2,000 years ago would have been.
Yeah.
So, it's also got an ending that's very similar to Lay Down Your Arms, funnily enough. A story which I was also enjoying until the plot got going, funnily enough. This one is definitely above that. But it's got another Nobel Peace Prize scene. It almost feels like those two could have been in a box set together as Nobel Peace Prize winners box set, maybe.
Yeah.
Or just historical. They're certainly following a similar structure though, aren't they?
Yes. But it's quite beautiful. Especially when it's check your compass. That's quite a wholesome thing.
Yeah, it's just wholesome, really, this story, I'd say.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. Turtleneck.
Yeah.
Eccleston.
And it's actually in the story as well. It's not
there's a reference.
Yeah, we like it when that's the case, don't we? It's not just a cover detail.
We get a little kick out of that.
Yeah. Especially because I think sometimes you're listening to a story, imagining a Doctor looking how they are on the cover.
Yeah.
And then suddenly someone will say something in the story and you're like, but that's not how they look on the cover. Where's this come from?
And then it just makes you really irritated going, they lied.
Why is the Doctor's scarf in this story? He's in his Deadly Assassin outfit on the cover.
Damn you, Solo. Yeah. I had a real good time with this one. I think the opening felt very sort of series one with the TARDIS sort of hurtling.
Yeah, it gives you that empty child feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was like, well, I feel like I'm back in 2005. Maybe that's why I was just like, this is what I've been waiting for. Don't know. It's great.
Yeah. I might have to give that a rewatch actually with Far From Home coming soon.
That'd be a good one, actually.
A good time to revisit Empty Jar Doctor Dancers. But yeah, as for Northern Lights, I think I'm not as enthused as most people seem to be. Like, some people have been putting it as one of the top Eccleston stories, really, like shoulder to shoulder with Station to Station.
No, I wouldn't say it's
Old
that
Lang
level of
Syne.
good.
No, me neither. I think they're still a level above that. But
I just think
did
in terms
enjoy-
of other quality we've had, it's a standout.
yeah, I won't deny that. But I think it's fairly on par with the rest of this box set, though. Yeah. So maybe I'll push it to an 8 for this one.
I'll agree with an 8.
Yeah. And now we come to the final story, The Beautiful Game, written by Catherine Armitage. Or Armitage? One of the two,
those.
hopefully. If not, then we've really made a fool. Well, I've made a myself.
Yeah.
This one is all about football and the founding of the Football League. It's sort of taking the pioneer concept in a different direction from the other two, isn't it? Whereas they're more about literal pioneering explorers, either of history or of the future. This is about the pioneers of sports, taking it in a new direction. And I don't know if you got this, but I feel like there's a bit of a spiritual successor in this story to the Peterloo Massacre.
Yeah, I got that vibe to it.
Did that help you enjoy this one a bit more, or?
Do you know what? I think this is the one I was dreading.
Because
it's football, and us Doctor Who fans, we don't really like football.
I think with Ninth Doctor sets as well, we're sort of conditioned to think there's going to be a dud in here.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, we got through 2 good stories. We can't be 3 for 3.
Yeah, because it sort of give me, just reading the synopsis, like, oh, this is like lay down your arms type feel to it, you know.
Which, funnily enough, more happened with Northern Lights, but
but in
a different way.
This was a lot of fun. With like the whole women's rights and suffragettes type feel, Yeah.
I mean, dare I say, with this story also being a good one, this set has got a hat trick.
Yeah.
Get the football in there.
God. Oh God. You know what? It's fine. You can have it.
Yeah, I was on target with that one, wasn't I?
Oh, you had possession. There, and you took it.
Yeah. And keeping the ball rolling on this story.
Yeah, onside. There we are.
There we go. Stephen Noonan's currently on the bench. He's not with us this stream.
It'll be a substitute in the next game.
You're kicking me out, are you?
No.
Yeah, I love that Christopher Eccleston loves football. I mean, with a lot of these sets, they are stories.
It's catering to keep him sweet, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, this set in particular feels like that as well, because you've got...
It's a homecoming, really.
But yeah, like this whole set, you kick off with "I hope the planet turns around and shits on you," appealing to that style of that side of Eccleston with that story, and then you've got a historical figure that he really wanted the Doctor to meet. That was something he threw out there, and then Big Finish went and created, and then finally you've got it coming home with the football story, and in Manchester as well. Yeah, which I think it's wonderful how this story really educated me on that. And I think Eccleston's enthusiasm for football allowed me to really get on with that. There's a wonderful speech towards the end about the sport, about how, it can pull people together when it's at its best, but also at its worst, terrible things have happened surrounding football. In the extras, Eccleston says, love the sport, hate the business, which, I completely understand that. And I think there is something quite universal about football, about how you don't need much to play it. Like, the jumper goalposts things is something that you just need a ball and a bit of imagination, and suddenly you got a game underway out on a field between friends, really. And while we're Doctor Who fans, so we're not that sporty. This is
no, but this is the thing. Like the World Cup, you do naturally find yourself getting sucked into it. Because you're like, oh, are we actually winning now?
Yeah, you get
like
caught
when
up
we're
in the
doing
scene.
well, we get caught up in it. But when we're doing crap, you're kind of like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was something special in the air in 2018, wasn't there?
Yeah,
when we were actually doing well in it.
Or was it the Euros? I think a couple of years ago. Like,
I mean,
being in the final.
Yeah. I mean, it came home last year with the Lionesses, didn't it?
Yeah, that was very good.
But, yeah, I mean, that even gets a reference in this story. There's some. I imagine there was a lot of references I didn't get in this story as well to different things.
There was a few like Manchester jokes, which is nice in there.
But yeah, overall, I'd say it's just another heartwarming one, but in a different way. I think it's just nice to know that Eccleston's probably having a great time recording this one.
We just need the Barry White story now.
Yeah. It's got the Strike is the monster in this one. It's a creature which chooses something to obsess over and then relentlessly tries to consume everything to do with it.
Doctor Who fans.
Yeah. Well, football fans as well.
Yeah.
Fans of most things, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, as you might expect in this story, it latches onto football as a concept. And so the Doctor has to try and keep history together, because the entire Football League system might not come about if events in this hotel don't take place. And I think it was a wonderful history lesson in this. And like we said about it tying in with the Peterloo Massacre, it also allowed me to see how well connected that was, the beginning of football was with, workers' rights and such. And, the North-South divide about how,
football's ours. You Southerners can't have it.
Yeah,
Bugger
it's
off.
for the people, not just for the rich as an amateur sport for them to do in their own time. Because, they obviously have a lot
got
more
polo,
free time. They've got, they've got the money and the time to spend to just have a kick around amongst themselves. Whereas this is about making it so that anyone can play, not just the rich, powerful Southerners. It's about putting together that system. And I think that ties in wonderfully with the suffragettes in this story and their journey. You got Daphne, who's on a particularly interesting journey in this, because she is someone who's much also not necessarily accepting of her place, but not wanting to fight back against it. And she goes on a wonderful journey.
It's a bit Hargreaves. We mustn't grumble type thing.
I mean, there's a funny line from William Sudell where he's going on about how, we shall be equals now. And the character he's supporting to is like, oh, I was just saying about how great it is that the wife gets to play football as well. And he's like, no, I didn't mean equal amongst everyone. I just meant equal amongst us men. And it's like, it's just 2 steps forwards, 1 step back, or maybe 1 step forward, 2 steps back, depending on how you see that. But it was a fun little moment. But yeah, it's wonderful how all that, the idea of football being for everyone, is really baked into this story.
And there's no language barrier with it either. It's just,
Yeah, I think, as we say, that enthusiasm for football, not just Eccleston's, but also Catherine Armitage's, how she's baked that into the script itself. It is infectious. And even though we're not huge football fans or anything like that at all, we still can get a lot out of this, and a lot more than I was expecting to. So
yeah,
thumbs up from me on this one. Yeah, I had a good fun time with it. I think I preferred it to The Green Gift. I think if I had to rank this set in order, I'd say. But yeah, as we were saying earlier, though, 3 solid stories in this one.
Yeah,
and I think maybe another 8 out of 10. just because it is fun. It's the shortest, and that works in its favor. It gets to fly by a little bit more.
Yeah, it's one what I had low expectations for, so I guess I was really pleasantly surprised by it.
Although, I'm
really enjoying it.
Yeah, you know how we talked about the cover art for the previous story, though. You know, the turtleneck being there.
Yeah,
and there was some points raised about the cover art for the Beautiful Game about how awkward Eccleston looked holding that ball.
Yeah,
it's just come to me that he never actually touches the ball in the story. I don't think.
I don't think
there's even a football in the story to be. Oh no, maybe
they play a game. They play
start.
unless he's doing like a throw in at the start, which I don't think he is.
But yeah, certainly, it's not as prevalent. It's more about football than being a football story, I suppose.
Yeah.
It is a story.
It's not like a game.
Yeah. It's got a wonderful team dynamic as well with the characters. It's like a quartet of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
All coming from different backgrounds, having different feelings towards football. And I think, that comes together really nicely in this one. Because sometimes you do end up with an overcrowded group, don't you, in these Ninth Doctor stories?
But yeah, you definitely. I had that with. Was it Red Darkness?
Or are you thinking of the other one with the red Color of Terror?
Yeah, Color of Terror. Yeah, the charity shop one.
Yeah, but I think balances out the characters really well. And I like the strike as a concept as well. It's like easy to get hold of what exactly it is. It's easy to imagine it. I mean, it probably would be CGI if this was a series. Probably a bit awkward CGI as well if it's 2005, but yeah.
But there's a charm to that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so 3 for 3. Does that justify the price now? If we get into the clickbait topic here.
Right. So it's got individual cover art. So
it's also got music suites. Which was like a music suite for each story, which is something that we didn't have with the previous. We haven't had since Ravagers actually, and that was just one music suite for all 3. Then none since then. So they've at least got that on there to bump up the value a little. But yeah, sorry, go
on. So I guess that gives it a few points. Eccleston being on the spine, I guess another point.
Well, 1 out of 4 spines so far. We can't get too far ahead of us.
Well, that's our Eccleston spine quota for the series, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It's on a par with Series 2 at the moment. Can it beat it?
But 30 quid. No, I would say it's worth 30 quid.
I mean, I suppose the thing is, we did have a time where, when collecting the 4th Doctor Ventures, that was £11 for a story, a single disc. So that comes out to 33 quid for free. And there you're getting 1 less disc than this, and 1 less bit of cover art with no box set cover art. So I suppose it's not unheard of, but yeah, certainly with the prices.
It's just you get so used to the prices
of box sets. Right.
And then when it does change, you're like, oof, that's a bit of a sting. And I think with the sheer amount Big Finish are producing, which is amazing stuff, you do have to sort of become a bit more selective in what am I interested in. Because I think we've noticed over the past couple of years, maybe our collecting habits have changed.
Yeah, I think in fairness to Big Finish as well, they have made it more easier to pick and choose with dividing up the Doctors into their own ranges. I mean, we've gone for the big bundle both times anyway.
Yeah.
But there is now that easier option to choose, whereas with the main range, if you want it to get cheaper, you have to do big 6-month or 12-month subscription, and in that you're going to get a Doctor who you might not be as interested in. Whereas here, if you don't want your 6th Doctor stories, just don't buy 6th Doctor. It's funny because at the time of the main range, it was more the 7th Doctor we were against, but now we've switched up onto the 6th, haven't we? But nevertheless, I mean, Big Finish is ultimately a luxury product.
Yeah.
I think that's important to note. So it's not an essential. You don't have to buy any of it.
I mean, for us, it does feel like it. It just feels like a bill for us. It's just like, oh yeah, gotta pay the Big Finish bill this month.
Yeah, I mean, with the forking over of the 108 quid for this bundle, it was a case of, I'm gonna do it sooner or later. I know I am. It's just I've got to get over and done with, peel the plaster off, and get on with it. But and I mean, now at least, it feels good. Like when you get to August, February, and May next year, and a new box set comes out, and it's just there in your account. You don't have to worry about sending any more money to Big Finish for that. You'll be paying for another massive series that's coming out around that time anyway.
It's just so nice having, you've got this and you're just like, right, I've budgeted enough for these next couple of months, so I'm like, I don't have to spend. They'll get the money in other projects, I'm sure.
I mean, we could probably get away, the two of us, without spending any more money on Big Finish this year from here on out. And we'd still have a decent amount to listen to, like, each month.
But at least 2 or 3.
Yeah.
At least.
We're greedy. We want more, so we will still be buying as the year goes on. Probably complaining about some of it as well, but that's just what we
critiquing.
Do, really. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully constructive critiquing most of the time.
We're not bashing for the sake of it.
But I will say, there is something of a standout with this set, though, price-wise. Like, usually, I'd say Big Finish prices, you can rationalize and justify them. They are, ultimately not making these to push for a strong profit. They are doing it for the love of stories, aren't they? And so with that, inflation has gone up considerably over the last while, but for the most part, these box sets and releases haven't really kept up with that.
Yeah, the price has only just sort of crept up.
Yeah, it's more of a recent thing, isn't it? But yeah, with this, I do feel like it might have been a bit too far, especially when you compare it to
maybe 27.
Yeah, I think 27 or 27.99 maybe for the.
How much was like the River Song and 10th Doctor? I think that was about 27.
Yeah, that was 27.99, and that was the same amount of stuff as well, wasn't it? It was 3 stories, individual cover art, and a bonus behind the scenes disc. I think the thing is, I think you could have cut the behind the scenes disc easily. And just had, the interviews on the usual discs, like they do with most other box sets, really.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's anything as special anymore that it deserves to be its own disc. It's funny, even the physical copy actually seems to forget that, because on the bottom it says 3 times CD set, when it's actually got 4 CDs in it. So evidently they forgot they had a bonus CD in there with all the behind the scenes. But yeah, I think that probably could have been removed, and just to bring the price down a little bit, because compared to Doomsday, that's going to have 4 stories in for the same price.
And imagine one cover.
Yeah, possible. Or they might do a Torchwood Among Us though, and do individual cover art for the stories, but just on discs.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, looking at Among Us though, that's 4 stories in a set. The download is 20 quids, and the CD is 28 quids. So that's 4 discs, 4 stories, and individual cover art as well, even if it's not individual cases. Or individual disc art, I suppose is the way to put it.
Yeah.
So just comparing that price-wise, it feels like this should have been brought down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I suppose, especially with Eccleston selling as well as he does, it's like you don't necessarily need to put up the price.
Well, if you look at the bundle price, I think it was like 88 quid. So the bundle's been increased by 20 quid.
Yeah, like that's a whole other set.
Yeah, that's another Big Finish set, pretty much.
Yeah.
About when it starts to become going, oh my god, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I think it's especially when you get to those big bundles, isn't it, where you're trying to break it down and trying to justify forking over all that much at once.
I'm genuinely curious about what next year's bundle price is gonna be.
Yeah, I suppose on the topic of prices, we forgot to mention when we did the news, Torchwood Soho has gone up a bit. That's now like the same prices that Call Me Master and the Fugitive Doctor stuff is put at, where it's 3 discs, dual case and slipcover, so the standard relaunch size. But instead of $19.99 for CD and $16.99 for download, it is now $22.99 for CD and $18.99 for download. Could this be the new standard price going forward as more and more stuff is announced?
Well, we noticed that with like the Call Me Master and Joe Martin box set. I think the normal bundle price is what, 38 quid, isn't it? And I think they're about 45 or something like that. So maybe pick up Fourth Doctor Series 13 while the price is out, unless it increases or stays the same. I don't know.
I think it's probably fairly safe to say that'll stay the same. Because I think usually the way Big Finish does this, they don't necessarily up the prices, at a flat rate. They more just make the newer stuff more expensive as they go along.
Yeah.
So I think Fourth Doctor Series 13 is probably safe. But we'll see when we get around to like the announcement and what the big bundle price is for what's coming, like the Classic Doctors bundle in 2024, if that is going to be increased. Because thing is, like, it doesn't seem like too much for just one release. You're going, £3 more for the CD, £2 more for the download. But when you spread that across 14 releases in a bundle and you add that on, that's going to be an extra, 30, 40 quid for the same amount of stuff we got this year? Or a similar amount, depending on, what changes they make to how many box sets each Doctor gets. So, yeah, I mean, interesting times are ahead. It's sort of like a watch this space thing and see where prices go. I mean, we've seen with certain 2-disc releases, actually, that the price has gone up a bit. Not Doctor Who related yet, but the Luther Arkwright stuff and that Omega Factor audio movie they're doing, The House That Wasn't Haunted by Tim Foley. That is so still $12.99 for download, but $15.99 rather than $14.99 for CD. That's just a 2-disc dual case one. So we'll see. I mean, good news for Paternoster Gang though. That's going through to 2025, I think, is it? Yeah, May 2025 is the 4th box set, and that's all at the usual 20 quid for CD and 17 quid for download price. So, which is also cheaper than the previous series as well, by being the same amount of stories. It's just, again, it's that bonus disc. They've done away with it, and they're just putting the extras, the interviews on each individual disc for each story, which they should have just done with the Ninth Doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe have extended extras of the download like they do sometimes if you really need to squeeze a bit more out of them. Yeah. I do appreciate the music suites being there, though.
Yeah, it's a nice little bonus. Because it's something what's sort of been missing on some releases. It's nice to see it make a return.
Yeah. It was a nice surprise as well, and did help alleviate the blow a bit of the price increase when I saw that. I was like, okay, at least it is something slightly more. I've not just paid an extra 20 quid for the same amount I got last time.
Yeah.
But, we'll see if they keep that up as the box sets go on. I mean, any hopes for upcoming box sets? Any monsters or returning characters you'd quite like to see the Ninth Doctor meet?
I'd quite like Ninth Doctor and Zygons, actually.
I could see that. I'd quite like some Weeping Angel action.
Okay, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Maybe in a long. Yeah. Also, I mean, it's
just longer form story. It's more monsters, more format. I feel.
Yeah. I mean, my ideal Ninth Doctor box set would be, just one long 3-part story, similar to Ravagers, just like format-wise, not plot-wise, but written by Tim Foley. I think that's...
Yeah. I think you're onto a winner there.
I think, just saying written by Tim Foley is my wish
pre-order.
list. Yeah. The Big Finish going forward, really. I mean, I don't want to do away with the one-parters entirely, but we've had so many of them recently. It needs to be mixed up a bit.
Yeah, so maybe like at least one box that has a one-parter, and you get like a two-parter.
Yeah, that worked out very well for Old Friends.
Yeah. Just have the two-parter first, so you're not like, oh, let me get to the juicy thing.
Joe Bauer says, I wonder when we'll get details on the 2024 bundle. For the past 2 years, we already had details by now.
It's normally like middle of May. Obviously, we're in June now.
Yeah, I mean, they do seem to be holding off on some details even later now. Like the 7th Doctor cover, we didn't get until the month it's out, Far From Home.
Are we going to be in position in like January, like December, like, oh yeah, this is what's happening next year? Like, okay.
I hope not. I don't think so. I think
we're going to be doing a tier list. Go, what's happening?
Yeah. I mean, do you think they'll just drop all the details and then that'll be it, or do you think they'll include like a box set as well, like they did last time with Conflicts of Interest? How it was, the main story was this 5th Doctor box set's coming out next year. Also, you can now pre-order all this other stuff. Or do you think it'll just be, hey, you can pre-order all this stuff that's coming out next year and no specific details?
I feel like it'll be a Davison set. I think once it's September, I think September it'll probably get announced or something like that when the next Davison set's released.
Maybe. But then again, we did get, as we say, Conflicts of Interest details before 42 was out.
Yeah, so maybe, anytime now then, really.
Yeah. We're just waiting still for the Furler in the Night details.
Yeah.
I remember we was deceived on that by Big Finish on Twitter a while ago, because it was like around the time, about 4 or 5 o'clock, they usually share the news. They shared that same article again. So I was like, oh, more 5th Doctor details. And then I realised it was the article from January. And my heart dropped.
But they've done that with the bundle. So they've shared like the bundle image, like pre-order now with save money with the bundle. You click on it, it's a 2023 stuff. And you think, oh, is this for new? The next set of bundle to get.
Yeah, that's it, isn't that? Hopefully 9 meets the Ice Warriors, says Joe Bowers.
That'd be nice.
Interesting one. I mean, at the moment, he's on a streak of different classic monster each box set, isn't he? Or monster. I feel like, Vash and Narada, it's easy to forget they're not classic. Similar to the Weeping Angels, isn't it, really?
I think they are classic now.
Yeah.
I feel like they are.
They're on that same level as a lot of the
they're in the pantheon.
Monsters. Yeah.
Of them, but...
They're shoulder to shoulder. They're equals.
Yeah.
But yeah, because why is... I suppose, we haven't had no returning monsters set since Respond to All Calls now. Cybermen.
Yeah.
Oh no, back to Earth. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Back to Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that box set's just so good, you sort of forget that it doesn't have returns. And then Sontarans, Sea Devils, Vashta Narada, and now
Maggots.
Boston and Maggots. So, will next box set be something fresh, or will it have a returning monster? We shall see.
Quarks.
That'd be an interesting combination.
Yeah, been interesting to listen.
Yeah, we did mention last stream that we do a bit of a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll quite push for that because you're tired. We're running a bit late here.
Yeah, but we'll definitely make up for it next week.
Yeah, but I would say we did get a couple of questions from Stylish One that I think we can quickly go through because you left them in advance. So thank you, Stylish One. So I think
thank you very much.
Quickly go through these. Yeah. Stylish One asks, which do you prefer, the Snowmen theme tune or the Series 7B theme tune?
Snowman, because it's got like the. So I'd say that.
I'm not enough of a fan of the series to notice the difference, to be honest. I haven't gone back to.
Well, the Snowman's got a little bit after. Yeah, and I'm not gonna. It's hard to explain without a visual reference.
Yeah. I think it's been explained to me before. I think it's come up before on the streams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just never. I know there's a difference there, but I couldn't tell you what is or which I prefer. So,
okay.
Sorry for a useless answer there, but it's the best you're going to get. Favorite Series 7 episode poster now. Probably should look these up to have a bit of a reminder, even though I did the tier list, made the tier list last time, looking them all.
I quite like the Nightmare and Silver one before seeing the episode because it's like the excitement of a new Cyberman design.
Yeah, sometimes they can sort of color your opinions, can't they? The episodes themselves. I mean, I do quite like the Angels Take Manhattan one. Asylum with the Daleks also. That's the one that springs to mind.
Yeah, that was one that sort of was like, wow. Actually, I do quite like Power of Three. Because I just like the bluey black background with like the cubes, how they're integrated into it. How it's all like pixelates. I like that one.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And it's something that I wish they'd do more for going forward. Maybe they will. But it certainly helps. I mean, I see why they did it for this series because, it was the blockbuster of the week thing. They're trying to give them each a movie poster. But yeah, certainly. It's always nice seeing Doctor Who artwork, isn't it? It's why we like our Big Finish covers for the most part.
Yeah.
Next question was, if it loads, here we go. Favorite new series poster from any series now?
Series 5.
Yeah, that's a banger.
With like the rabbit hole.
Yeah. And like the monsters around the side. I don't know. There was a nice Capaldi one, but I can't remember what it is.
Is it like the series? I quite like the Series 10 one with like Bill hanging out with Tom.
Yeah. Nardole having a panic attack next to the doctor. Yeah. There's lots of good ones from that era. Which would you rather like to get from Big Finish? A Season 7 Dalek story or a Season 11 Master story?
I'd say Season 7 Dalek story.
Yeah, it's just a curiosity of how that would work.
Like in terms of the tone, could you feel the Dalek grit of the film?
Yeah, how that integrate with Liz Shaw and such.
Because the Cybermen work great in that. So I'd be interested to see what the Daleks would be.
The invasion is sort of a template for that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the Daleks, they just sort of more fit the pulpy side of the Third Doctor. And the more gritty Season 7 side of it. So we'll see. And finally, most anticipated upcoming Big Finish audios for the rest of the year. No.
There's two that spring to mind.
No, what are they?
Audacity and Angels and Demons.
Oh, yeah. I'd agree there. Yeah. Right. Angels and Demons is one I'm quite looking forward to. Also now, A Genius for War as well.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
But I'm just flicking through the Big Finish website, seeing if anything else stands out, because we don't have too many details for a lot of what's coming up.
That is true.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, In the Night, a 4-parter for the Fifth Doctor, Pursuit of the Nightjar by Tim Foley. Again, like we say, Tim Foley, just stamp that name on something, and I'm going to be excited for it. So that's got to be up there.
We like our Davo.
Yeah, and also I'll throw out there from the end of the year, Everywhere and Anywhere.
Yes, good one.
Yeah, that's right. If I had to narrow it down, probably, yeah. It's hard to get as excited for things that are right in front of us, like with Angels and Demons. While I'm excited for that, you almost
kind of moved
take it
on
for granted because you know it's almost here now. So it's like, what am
Yeah.
I anticipating the rest of the year? But yeah, it's like, that's nearly here now. I don't have to think about it as much.
Yeah.
It's well that you look to the future. It's the way with us Doctor Who fans, isn't it? We get something, we love it for about a day, and then we're wondering what's next. We get our collection set announcement. We get excited about it, and then not long before it comes out, we're like, "Can we have the next news, please?"
Yeah.
And we're still waiting. Did you see on Twitter, Chris Chapman said he was working on a weekend-long shoot for something to do with the 60s set?
I wonder if that's season 6.
Oh, speaking of the 60s, do we want to have a quick chat about what's going on in the missing episodes sphere?
Yeah, we can do, because there's a convention called Utopia happening in Milton Keynes, and there was a missing episode panel there with I think 3 of the prolific missing episode people. Not Ian Levine, he wasn't there.
No.
Philip Morris, I think Paul Veneers, and the woman who realised they were missing episode, I can't remember her name, which is horrible.
Oh, I know Josh Snares loves to poke fun at her a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Is it Barbara something?
I wouldn't be. No. I don't know. But yeah, you should know.
Yeah.
You know the person. You know what I mean. They revealed that there are at least 6 episodes out there that the 97 will drop. And I think as well somebody has sadly passed away who had Galaxy 4, Airlock, and the Underwater Menace.
Yeah.
And they have got like a whole mishmash of tins and they aren't labelled, so there could potentially be something else in there.
Yeah, I think they're sorting through his stuff now, aren't they? For what? I'm trying to find the name. Here we go. Oh, no, we don't. That's just a picture of him. But it doesn't say the name of the private collector, sadly. But yeah, basically, there is hope at the moment.
Yeah.
We're putting our clown makeup on. Pretty much.
We're in our clown era.
Yeah. More missing episodes could be coming. Happy Days, Power of the Daleks, maybe. I wouldn't complain. I'd be happy with anything, really. It's just there's something special about it, isn't there? It's getting stories anew, and it's been nearly 10 years.
It's having a family member return to, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's all it is. Not quite when a family member, but it's that similar feeling to if you've lost. Well, I can't say that actually because I haven't. But we're going into very dangerous territory. But because you don't have the closure on it, and you never will with this.
Yeah.
Because there is going to be a point where we run out of missing episodes to bring back. Like they're all going to be destroyed or beyond repair. Yeah, but we're never going to know when that point is. We may already be past it. We may be at the point where there are no more missing episodes. We live in hope, but we're never going to be sure. And so yeah, it's sad, really, but it would be nice if we can get just one more find.
Yeah.
And
Especially this year of all years,
Yeah, I think we have got to at least get one more. I think there's going to be something out there, with private collectors and such. We'll see something else return.
Well, that's the danger now, isn't it? People don't realise when these private collectors pass on, do the families know the value of some of the stuff they have,
Yeah, or is it
all
just
these
going
years?
to be burned to get rid of? It's scary times. Yeah, because to us it seems so obvious, doesn't it, that that this is important stuff you need to preserve. But I think we've all had that thought to ourselves once. What if there's a missing episode in my loft?
There was a whole Blue Peter thing. If there was like a missing episode, if you find a missing episode, you get a free full-size Dalek.
Yeah, there wasn't there?
And like you went up in the attic and you're like, no tapes in here, just like your parents' old vinyl. You're like, that's not Doctor Who. This isn't Marco Polo.
No. Oh dear. I mean, fingers crossed. I think if there's news, we'll hopefully have it soon with what they've been saying about stuff. And if it's similar to the Web of Fear, Enemy of the World stuff, could they be holding on to something to announce closer to the anniversary? So that they can then drop it quite quickly rather than... Because it's funny when you look back at the Underwater Menace and Galaxy 4 news, because it's like, oh, we found these stories. You're not going to see them for a while, though. Because, Underwater Menace, no one saw that until after Web of Fear and Enemy of the World, did they, really?
I think it was on Dailymotion. Somebody got a copy.
Sneak out. I mean, it would have been shown at a event,
probably.
wouldn't it? Yeah, when it returned. But certainly, like commercial release-wise, despite being announced before Web and Enemy of the World, it didn't come along until a little bit after that.
Yeah, 2015 with the DVD, I think, probably.
Yeah, I mean, when was the Aztecs out? At least Galaxy
2013.
Yeah.
So it was the March. It was March. Late March.
Yeah. But it's just funny how it all works out, isn't it? So yeah, but I imagine now, just with the era we're in, they'll find a way to get it out pretty quickly to, cash in on that hype. Like they did with Web and Enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do they have any? Because obviously that was a big thing of like the BBC Store, wasn't it? Or whatever it was at that time.
Yeah.
You get it. Or I suppose they stuck them on iTunes, wasn't it? It's the main thing. They can still do that now. And probably Amazon as well.
Or be on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah, could be. Could be where our missing episodes are going. I don't know. Well, that might not be the best place for them. Disney doesn't seem to like preserving.
Well, it'd be the irony there is great.
True. Oh, Civil War flashbacks to that Underwater Menace release. So in a small collection. It was a rough time to be a Doctor Who fan. It's funny how much that's turned around since then, though, isn't it, with the collections?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like that really has breathed life into being a classic fan, I suppose. Having releases, new extras, restored quality to look forward to there. Yeah. And again, artwork.
Yeah, true.
We love our artwork.
We love a good cover.
Which missing story would be hard to find? I mean, most at this point.
Stephen, probably, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's the hardest, isn't it? Well, the most certain we can be that it's dead. Because it wasn't made to be sold.
Yeah, I mean, if that one is found and comes back, then there is hope for every single episode.
It's a Christmas miracle if that one does.
Yeah.
But you never know, though, because there are some stories which just randomly show up in the strangest places, like Ice Warriors in a church cupboard, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, or the Daemons in a Mormon church.
Yeah, like these things do get into inexplicable positions despite surely no copy should have been made or whatever. So there's always hope, but I think Feast of Stephen, definitely not one to hold your breath for.
Yeah, I don't think it's one people are clamoring to see either.
Yeah. I mean, closer to home with that one, with the rest of the Daleks Master Plan, the fact that other episodes of that have come back, despite it only being copied once to be sold, and I don't think it even actually went over to Australia, did it?
I don't know, actually. I've not really looked into where they went.
Yeah, because I think it was just the one batch of 11 for that one. Like they skipped out on Feast of Stephen, and that was going to be sold to Australia, but then for whatever reason, it didn't end up going over there, and then the tapes just disappeared. So, yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe when time travel is invented, these mysterious tape disappearances will be explained by a time traveler going back to scoop them up
before they're slime.
Yeah, but they're burnt to a crisp. But I mean, that's even a practice still, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think when they found Web of Fear and Enemy of the World, or maybe I don't think it was that recent. I think it was a different set, but it was certainly Find where this guy was
Eric and what is it, Morecambe and Wise?
Oh, it might have been that, but they were basically like they found them and they were told, okay, well, we should be burning these now, and they were like, no, don't burn them, let us take them. Because that's just the order for these things once they get to the end of their cycle. But if they're in storage, like some of them were, that's how they end up being saved. And it's just a box ticking exercise that didn't get completed, thankfully. But I mean, missing episodes always fun to talk about, speculate what could be going on there,
and hopefully we can all rejoice when the Space Pirates is back.
You never know.
Just watch this space.
Oh, Joe Power says Paul Veneers had a theory how Daleks Master Plan 7 could exist. Basically, a viewing copy could have been made for the BBC management to view, as they were unlikely to have watched the episode on the day. See, there you go. There is always hope. Yeah, maybe some old BBC employee has that kicking around in his house somewhere.
They can get a free Dalek if they bring it back.
Maybe Michael Grade found it in his office one day and has just been waiting to publicly burn it.
Oh.
That's what he's got to do for the 60th anniversary. He's not still alive, is he?
Michael Grade is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course he did the
Blu-ray.
Interview. Yeah. Retired, though, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah. Oh, Big Finish update. You're not going to believe this. I'm on 2022, says Hooverman's Ball Collection.
Blimey.
You miss a week, and this is what happens.
Flying through.
I hope you're enjoying that stuff.
You're probably more ahead of us. It's how we next stream.
Yeah, that's true. We've got a few things to catch up on, haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to call it a night now?
Yeah, I think it's a good time. We've done Live Talk, we've done Big Finish News, we've done missing episodes. Been a good one.
Yeah. I mean, would you recommend Pioneers? Would you say it's a pickup?
Yeah, I'd say it defeats the curse of the Ecclestons.
There is hope again.
Yeah.
And if you've not got Series 2, pick up Back to Earth, at least. But if you have got all the other Ecclestons, you're wondering, should I continue with this? I'd say maybe give it a go.
Yeah.
If you've been enjoying the Ecclestons, definitely. I think there's not a sudden change here that would make you not enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for joining us this evening.
Yeah, been a pleasure as always.
Yeah. and we'll hopefully be seeing you next week as Stephen Noonan joined us to complete season 12, or at least do another part of it. We shall see.
It could just be Genesis of the Daleks,
We
but I'm
shall
sure
see.
it's all exciting for that. But yeah, we'll be hopefully back for that next week. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. If you enjoyed the stream, like, subscribe, do all that lovely stuff because it helps us out so we can build a nice big community of Doctor Who people and spread the love about Big Finish and Doctor Who in general.
But until then, thank you for watching. See you next week. Take care.
Take care and bye-bye.